Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch might be the most interesting new Audemars Piguet of the last 10 years. It was actually launched late in 2022 for the 2023 model year. This is the Audemars Piguet Code 11.59 Starwheel. And it picks up where Audemars Piguet began the journey with the wandering hours in a wristwatch format back in 1991 with the original Starwheel, a Renaissance clock complication. It's relatively straightforward, but it has had huge impacts on the watchmaking world, as this basic idea was the foundational notion for Uhrwerk, and you could see where they got that notion. Now, of course, this works differently than Uhrwerk's system, but the use of a digital time indication with a rotating wheel and a corresponding scale in a wristwatch format, AP was the first. Now, the watch is a combination of black ceramic midcase, black ceramic crown shoulder, and then the rest is rhodium-plated white gold. It's a 41mm watch, but it's not thick. It's 10.7mm thick from lug tip to lug tip, 50mm with a 22mm spacing between the lugs. Of course, when the Code 11.59 came out in 2019, there was a lot of controversy about the basic versions of the watch not looking as expensive or exciting as they could be. And for me, this really resolves all of the doubts. The timepiece is large, though, and that is still the limiting factor with the standard 41mm code. Being 50mm lug to lug, I can wear this, but I don't think a smaller wrist can. So let's say 16 centimeters circumference and up. And then although it looks really thick and sheer, it's actually quite slim, so it will fit underneath the dress cuff. Strap-wise, we've got textile in gray, a monotone stitch, folded edge, some bolstering to give it volume on the underside. You can see that we've got a calf skin, and then we've got a buckle, and the buckle's a fascinating piece here. As you can see, the case is rhodium-plated white gold, but the buckle is gray gold. It is non-rhodium-plated white gold. So you can see it is visibly a warmer tone than the blinding platinum-like white of the rhodium-plated case. So that's one of the quirks on these APs these days. When you have a white gold case, you often have a buckle like this. The buckle is model-specific, which means it's been thoughtfully designed for the 11.59. It features polished bevels, satination. On the underside, there is media blast, and then we have screws to fix it in place. And we'll talk a bit more about those screws in just a second, but what I want to impress upon you is that screws and bars are used to fix the buckle to the strap and then used to fix the strap to the case, which is a much more secure and upscale alternative to spring bars that's much less susceptible to fatigue and failure. Now, about those screws, you can see they're hexagonal, one of several nods to the Royal Oak on this model. Taking a quick look at the case and profile, you can see that the mid case is actually a rounded octagon. That's the other nod to the Royal Oak. What I find most fascinating is the way the case is manufactured. So if you look here, you can see that the lugs are welded to the bezel, but they're not welded to the case back. In fact, you could just about slip a piece of paper between the lower facing of the lug and the side of the case here and here and here. And what that allows is for a very intricate finishing of the case underneath the lugs, and a very intricate finishing of the inside of the lugs with internal beveling and very fine detailing. So you've got all these micro bevels, you've got detailing within the recesses of the case and the lugs are hollow and buttress-like in profile, which makes the watch a lot more interesting in person than when you see it like this online. We have a combination of polished bevels and brushed white gold. You can see the watch is almost without a bezel, as the upper portion of the case is sort of like a white halo framing a watch face that is all dial. And we've got a little bit of a boxed and cambered sapphire, but look at the refractory patterns here. The way light plays across this irregularly shaped sapphire has been one of the undersold virtues of the offbeat Code 11.59, where the attention to detail and novelty really does pay off in ways you might not expect if you don't see the watch in person. The watch also features something that is useful to all of us, which is hacking seconds. And then we've got the satellite system. Aventurine glass, which is a type of grand faux enamel, sits underneath. That's the base. You can see the fired glass enamel dial with metallic elements inset to create the glittering image of the star. And, of course, stars, and then star wheels. And the discs themselves are PVD black aluminum to limit the extent of the rotating mass, and then I believe the carriage as a whole is made of white gold, because Audemars Piguet describes the hands of the watch as white gold. If the discs are aluminum, where are the hands? I'm taking that to mean the carousel itself, or at least the upper portion of the carousel. And the way this works is the incoming hour starts over on the left, and it points to 00, so that's 10. Now you can see the satellite traverses this 120-degree arc. That's 10:20, that's 10:30, and then the outgoing hour exits stage right, the incoming hour enters stage left, and it just continues on and on like this. Now, the reason it's called the Starwheel is because on the earlier version of the watch, which featured sapphire discs, you could see the mechanism that rotates the satellites. It's a combination of jumper springs and star-shaped wheels that interact with the spring in a pawl and wheel-like arrangement, and that's what performs the rotation. So you can't see them here. There are still star wheels to be seen. It's a lot of fun to play with this watch, and as you can see, dial depth here, as well as the dial side decoration, is really quite good. Turning it all over, you can see that it's based on a standard modern-day Audemars Piguet base, so the best finished part of this movement is actually the rotor, which features a combination of satination, high polish, skeletonization, and then mirrored beveling, including several sharp inward angles on different internal facets of the beveled surface within the rotor. We have solarization over the ball bearings with ceramic balls for maximum winding efficiency. Automatic winding, it's got a 70-hour power reserve. It's got a 4 hertz beat rate. It's 32 joules. The movement is 32 millimeters in diameter. You can see it has a full balance bridge with a free-sprung gyromax style balance for shock resistance. Those two features in tandem making a watch more shock resistant. And also the gyromax style balance, which we'll take a look at right here, allowing for very precise setting, because these little eccentric screws on the rim can be adjusted in and out in pairs, and so very fine timing adjustments can be made in that fashion. We have stripes, we have beveling, we have perlage, we have satination, we have polished screws, we have beveling and jewel and screw sinks. It's a good looking movement. Admittedly, it is largely finished by machines, but that's really the way in upscale volume watchmaking today. If you want something that is entirely hand finished, it's going to be more like a Royal Oak double balance open worked. So just keep in mind that even at the level of an Audemars Piguet or a Jaeger-LeCoultre or an F. Pigeon, or even a lot of Patek Philippe and Vacheron watches, you're going to see a lot of series production use of automated procedure when making these watches, with some hand-finished elements to gild the lily and put the final touch on the watch, such as, for example, the satination and the beveling of the carousel on the dial. It's all 30 meters water resistance. Well, this is definitely sporty enough to wear every day. Don't confuse that with outright sports watch. If you want to go in water and you want to wear Audemars Piguet, the best answer is still a screw-down crown Royal Oak or offshore. And I know there are going to be questions about whether this watch is luminescent, so just to clear that up, no, it's not. Now that you know everything about this watch, reach out, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.